My name is Michelle, and I'm your emotional resilience coach. Thank you for joining me today. Today we are going to be chatting about a brain dump and the absolute joy and beauty of it and what it looks like and why it is so good and effective. So often what happens when I'm speaking to a client, I will say to them, you really need to get to know yourself. You need to build that relationship with you. And in order to do that, you need to figure out who you are. And so often people say to me, but I don't know how to do that. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what you mean. And that's because we are so used to abandoning ourselves. We are so used to ignoring our thoughts, our feelings, our wants, our needs, suppressing our emotions, numbing them out, buffering with other things, distracting ourselves, that we don't know who it is that we actually are. And so to start with, what you want to do is you want to write about it. Now, there is something between the connection between the hand and the head coordination. Something happens there that makes writing so very powerful. If you prefer typing, you can, but my strong recommendation is to write it, all right? And it doesn't have to be neat, it doesn't have to make sense to anybody, but obviously you don't have to worry about spelling, punctuation, none of that, all right? You want to drop all the judgment and all the criticism because you want to figure out what is happening with you. So just think about it. If you are in a relationship with somebody, if you have a relationship and this person tends to be very negative, very critical, very judgy, very mean, you don't really want to have them around a lot, or you don't really listen to what they have to say, or you don't really take into consideration their thoughts. In fact, you try and minimize the time that you spend with them. And that's great. The thing is that we do that to ourselves all the time. And we hide from ourselves. But the problem is we can't escape ourselves. We're always there. We can't take a break from ourselves. We live with ourselves 24/7. And so having a good relationship with you is of paramount importance. You really want to get to know who you are. And a great way to do that is to write, because when you write, and it's going to take practice. For some people it happens on the first go. For other people, you really are building that relationship with you. So it's going to take a couple of efforts to get to this point. But eventually what happens, it's like this floodgate in your head opens. And all these thoughts and feelings come out onto paper. And it's just this outpouring. In the beginning, it is such a beautiful cathartic experience because all of the stuff that you've been keeping in like a pressure cooker, and just like a pressure cooker, you every now and again explode. Now what's happening is you're giving it a safe space to just pour out. And it's really good to go back to and read what you have written, because when you go back a couple of days later and read it, it's different viewpoint, different insight, and it really is very revealing. So it's really important to do that. You can use whatever you want to use. You can use pen, pencil, Sharpies, colorful crayons, colorful Sharpies, anything you want you can use to just write and just allow the experience. Try not to judge, try not to criticize, because as soon as you do, the part of you that wants to come out, the part of you that wants to and needs to be so desperately heard, goes into hiding. All right. And if you want to, you can even do a spider diagram. I don't know if you can see this. You guys did spider diagrams. You can write in here something about me. All right. And then you can put little bits, little lines on the side there, that you can just write your thoughts, write your feelings. You can do it in bullet point if you like to begin with. Just something to get that creativity flowing, to get comfortable with yourself, get comfortable with your thoughts, get comfortable with your ideas, your opinions, And remember, none of it is hard and fast, all right? We want to steer away from black and white thinking. So we can come back later and go, oh, I don't know if I still think this, or I don't know if I still believe this, or I don't know if I feel this anymore. It doesn't matter. Remember, healing is a marathon, and what you want to do is you want to get what's bottled in out. So good times to do this would be first thing in the morning, or last thing at night, or to begin with, both. Because you're going to find that there is so much pent up. There is so much that just needs to come out, and you're going to allow that. You're going to start writing, and you're just going to see that flow. And if you get to a point perhaps when you're stuck, or even in the very beginning, what often happens is when we first start this, there is this fear. We think, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do here. How do I even start? Start just like you would somebody you've just met. Ask yourself good questions. What am I feeling? What am I thinking? What happened? What happened in my day? How did my day go? All right, we don't need to yet go to anything big and huge in the past. We're going to get there, but we can start with the day. What happened? What triggered me? What went well? What didn't go well? Why do I believe it didn't go well? Was there something that triggered me from the past? Because often what happens is that we carry our undealt with trauma that was in the past. Because it hasn't been dealt with now, something will happen. Maybe somebody says something inadvertently, or maybe they are being mean-spirited and they say something to get a rise out of you. And they are successful because it hit a nerve, it hit a core wound, and we react. And maybe we don't always react the way we should have or wanted to react, or maybe we end up sitting a bit of a basket case with tears and we're thinking, why is this happening to me? Why am I responding like this? The reason is because there is an old trauma. There's a past trauma that we have not dealt with, and maybe we're not even aware of. And so this is a really good time for you to practice self-compassion, self-love, and just be curious. I absolutely love that word. Be curious about yourself, because when you approach yourself from a place of curiosity, you're going to drop that judgment. You're going to drop that criticism. You're going to really want to know, hey, what's happening? What's going on? What's happening with me? Why am I feeling this way? Why did I respond this way? And the why question is really beautiful and really powerful, because when we get to that answer, and often originally in the beginning when you start, you're going to give yourself very surface level answers. And then when you do, you want to dig a little bit and you're going to ask yourself, but why? And you're going to get something a little bit deeper, and you're going to keep going, and you're going to keep asking yourself why for whatever comes up for you, be it a thought or a feeling over a circumstance in the moments that you're dealing with. And as you keep peeling away those layers and you ask why, but why? Just like a child, right? If you want to do this to yourself, what's going to happen is eventually you're going to hit that core. It's going to resonate within you. There might be uncontrollable tears and sobbing, but that's okay. You're not off track. In fact, it's really good, because now you're getting to core wounds that you need to address, that you need to acknowledge, that you need to validate, that you need to love, that you need to ultimately feel. You need to feel it so that you can heal it. I have made a video on sitting with your feelings. Please do go back and refer to that video and what I'm speaking about there. And you're going to want to really embrace the experience. It might all come out at once. It might take a couple of attempts. It doesn't matter. It's going to look different for everybody. So how I do it, how somebody else does it, is irrelevant. It's what works for you, what resonates for you. All right, and then as you peel those layers and you discover a little bit more about you and why you are the way you are, what makes you tick, what doesn't make you tick, you want to be on yourself constantly to not judge and criticize, because as soon as you do that, you're going to hide from yourself again. All right, so you want to treat it just like you would a best friend or a child, somebody you love really, really deeply. You want to essentially learn to hold space for yourself. And what that means is you want to just be there for you, with you, and allow it. All right, we don't want thoughts of should have, could have, if only. We want to drop all those thoughts because they're not helpful. We just want to be aware of what's going on with us, why is it going on with us. So when we do that, we essentially opening ourselves up to discover our core wounds. We cannot heal if we don't know those core wounds, if we don't make peace with them, if we don't accept them, and if we don't just allow them to be what they are. So you will have an answer, and then I want you to ask yourself again, yes, but why? What is really going on here? All right? So that you can get to that core. And it's going to be practice, and it's going to be patience. And it is going to initially be time consuming, but like anything, the more you do it, the more easier it will become for you to see what is actually going on in your brain. Thank you. I am always really, really grateful for you. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, notifications button, and of course, I always love to hear your comments and thoughts. If you have any questions, if there is a topic that you would like me to cover, please do put it in the comments and I'll be sure to get to it. Have a most fantastic